This is The Blockchain Show. The Blockchain Show is a podcast that demystifies and promotes widespread adoption of cryptocurrencies and distributed ledger technology.
You are listening to episode number 86 with Robin Lee, the CEO and founder of HelloGold.
Hello, and welcome to another good show of the Blockchain Show. And thank you very much for downloading. And today we're talking about gold. Yes, gold. I know it's a very precious metal and very interesting, but what does this mean for blockchain? And what is blockchain gold? Well, we've got Robin Lee here today with us, who's going to explain more. Robin, I hand the floor over to you.
Thanks, guys. Yes, my name is Robin Lee. I'm the co-founder and CEO of HelloGold. HelloGold is a fintech startup in Southeast Asia with huge ambitions. We launched our business back in April last year. And essentially what we're doing is that we're creating better financial products for the mass market consumers, the folks that are underserved by traditional financial services providers like banks, with affordable products that they can access. And we have chosen gold as our launch asset. We've been live for 12 months. We just have about 25,000 users, and we are using blockchain from both a customer data transaction record keeping perspective as well as tokenizing the underlying assets. So GoldX, which is our gold token, is the world's first Shariah compliant tokenized asset. We are Shariah compliant because we are a financial inclusion play and we want to make our product accessible to everyone in the world.
Fantastic. So you actually use blockchain for your process as well as the actual currency as well. So you're completely blockchain.
Yes, that's right. Currently, we're using a centralized database. The blockchain for our customer records is in the staging area. We're testing it because we completed the blockchain earlier this year. But because we're live, it's in parallel testing to make sure it's capturing all the data accurately. What we don't want is to migrate our transactions into a protocol that is not doing what it's supposed to be doing. So we plan to do the full migration over the next 6 months. Absolutely. The other aspect, as you kind of pointed out, is the tokenization of the underlying, in this case, gold. We do that primarily for a couple of purposes. One is to provide clear evidence of ownership for our customers, greater transparency, a lot more flexibility for our customers, because what this means is that they can either use the products and services within our mobile application, or if they want to, for example, borrow from a different provider than the one that we have on our mobile app, they can take the gold out and put it into their digital wallet, and they can go to someone like, say, Salt, and borrow from them instead.
That's interesting. You mentioned the compliance, the Shariah compliance. What did you have to do to get that?
Actually, what Shariah compliance means in this space is pretty neat. Effectively, for gold to be Shariah compliant, our gold needs to be owned by our customers in an unencumbered form, and they have full access to it. There are a number of gold tokens in the market. We're one of the very few that provides fully allocated gold. Fully allocated gold is very different from unallocated gold. The way I describe full allocation is because unallocated gold is like this. When you put money in the bank, typically you put money in a bank account, and you know, that's all great. The money's there, but in the event that the bank goes under, there's a risk that you will lose all your money because the bank may not have the funds to pay you back the cash if they have other creditors. That's what we call unallocated. Fully allocated gold is as if you put money, you go to the bank, and instead of putting money in the bank account, you put money into a safe deposit box. It's a much more expensive way of storing your cash because you have to pay for the safe deposit box. But what that means, but what fully allocated means is that if the bank were to go down, whatever's in the safe deposit box belongs to you, the customer, no matter how indebted the bank is. So fully allocated gold for us is the safest form of owning gold. And we're one of the very few tokens out there that actually has fully allocated gold.
So if I've got my gold bar here, take me through the process about what I do with it so that I can use your platform.
Well, actually, you don't start with a gold bar. You start with either cash or Ether or Bitcoin in the case of our product. You would basically send us your cash or crypto. It sits in our wallet. And as you would with a stockbroking account, when you decide it's time for you to buy some gold, you place an order through our platform, and we transfer you the gold at prevailing spot price. It is really that simple. You have to remember that we are providing a service to the mass market consumer in all the countries that we go into, and therefore we have to keep the user experience as easy as possible.
Understand. So that's even easier. I don't need to use my gold bars or anything. I can use my current crypto money to invest.
Yes. In terms of the back end, once you buy the gold bar, the gold, basically what we do is that we already have gold in our reserves. We basically mint gold X as ahead of time. And we place those out into your wallet or into the mobile app as and when you make that trade. And we repeat the process as our store of gold X gets depleted through the purchases.
Wow. So how did this company come about? What's the sort of history?
A combination of both my experience living in Southeast Asia during the financial crisis in Asia in 1998, when I just saw bad things happen to good people. They didn't have access to the right kind of products or help to protect their wealth. And also my last job at the World Gold Council, where I was the CFO of the world's largest private gold fund, which is a $35 billion fund, a $35 billion ETF listed out of New York, GLD. And at the World Gold Council, I saw how our customers or investors basically use gold as a form of hedge against bad things, as well as how they could leverage the gold holdings to get access to financing. It was just a very clever idea to bring that service to the mass market consumers who typically don't have these kind of services. Ironically, there are two fintechs aside from us that are targeting the same mass market consumers, and they are Ant Financial and Tencent, both of whom are huge. I mean, most of the other gold startups in the space typically target the mass affluent, the rich, rather than the less rich.
So what's the sort of minimum investment which people can do with your platform?
It's a very affordable 25 cents.
Wow. We've all got 25 cents. So we should all invest some money now and see what happens. I think that sounds good.
Yeah.
How do we get, what's your website? How do we get in touch with you?
Our website is hellogold.org. What we're doing, we're in beta mode in terms of the crypto version of the mobile application. We plan to launch the full version by the end of the year. We're currently live in Malaysia with the fiat to gold, and we're launching in Thailand. Basically, if you think about banking apps, in each country you have a different app, even though you may be Citibank, because of the regulation in each country. So we localize our application for each market that we go into. Currently, we're live in Malaysia. We're going to Thailand later on this year. We plan to go to the UAE. And then at the end of the year, we plan to go to Indonesia. Next year, we're hoping to go to Egypt and Africa. But over and above all this, as I mentioned, by the end of this year, we want to have an international app, and that would be crypto to gold.
That sounds like a great idea. And obviously, it's better than investing just solely into cryptocurrency, if we can call it investing these days. it sounds like a great idea. Absolutely. Why not have this cryptocurrency backed up by gold? That's something pretty different, and it's certainly not in the vein of your kitty coins. This is something which is quite solid and a solid business model. Where do you see this going over the next 3 to 5 years?
If we do what we plan, I think we will replicate the success of Ant Financial, the Chinese fintech that's owned by Alibaba. They effectively created a money market fund about 5 years ago, and they removed the minimum transaction size to effectively nothing. That is now a $250 billion fund. We believe that this could be anything north of $30 billion over the next 5 years, just in the non-crypto space, not even factoring into the impact of crypto investors looking for a stable coin other than USDT. So we're pretty optimistic. We see us being a pretty new use case for blockchain technology over the next 3 to 5 years, with arguably hundreds of thousands, if not millions of users. I mean, as it is right now, we have 25,000 users on our platform.
That's a pretty good, sizable platform, I think, considering it's a pretty new business you've got here. And what about the rest of the world? What about America, for example? Are you going to create an app there? Can American people invest, for example?
Yes, so that's where the international app comes in. The international app won't be localized. It'll be a global platform. People will be able to buy the services that we will deploy through the international version wherever they are. The localized version is really for the mass market consumers in local countries, so it'll be in local languages and local lending partners, etc. And that we don't think we don't have plans to bring that to developed markets like Western Europe or America at this stage. I mean, the emerging market universe is a pretty big footprint that we have to cover.
Yeah, it is a pretty wide and broad market indeed. And who's your biggest competitor?
Look, there are folks out there in the blockchain space that have created gold coins. There are traditional providers like bullion banks, bullion dealers that exist. They all offer gold in some way, shape, or form, but they typically target like I said, the mass affluent, the rich. They don't really look at targeting the man in the street. Our strategy is really about looking for them, and that's why we partner up with well-known brands. So in Malaysia, we have partnered up with the largest mobile operator with 10 million customers in Malaysia. We're in discussions to partner up with the largest mobile operator in Thailand, with the largest social messaging platform in the Middle East. Again, we're in active negotiation with the largest mobile operator there across 10 countries. And so for us, working to serve these communities is incredibly important. One point of differentiation. The other point is the kind of gold that we provide. I mean, most of our competition will have fully backed gold, so you're not buying thin air. You're buying gold, but the gold that they provide may not necessarily be fully allocated. So you could be taking on the credit risk of the company. In the case of HelloGold, you don't take on our credit risk. No matter what happens to us, your gold is safe. That's not the case of some of the competition that we face in the crypto space. Having said that, on the flip side, because you take on the credit risk of some of these competitors, like DGX, because that's a good example of fully backed, unallocated gold product, it's a much cheaper product.
Okay, so certainly a word of warning for anybody thinking about investing. That's something to consider. And of course, your platform does sound like it's pretty well thought out. What's next? Are you going to start selling other precious metals, or are you sticking just to gold and stick to what you know?
Yeah, certainly we have plans to go down the path of introducing other real assets onto our platform. So yes, other precious metals like silver is an obvious candidate. We have very preliminary discussions with potential partners about other commodities. So just today, we were talking to a national oil company, and they were looking at how an oil-backed token can save customers at the pump, because in emerging markets, when oil prices fluctuate, it has a real impact on them. So, that's something that we could potentially do with a national oil company. We're also in very early discussions to create a money market fund and to provide that as an alternative to time deposits for our customers. So we have a number of products that we plan to roll out over time. It's just a question of partnering with the right kind of companies that could help us create these products and supply the products, the underlying assets, to our customers.
And speaking about your customers, do you find that customers are using this platform because it's easier to use than traditional methods of investing?
Yeah, absolutely. Out of the 25 customers that we have, what we found is the ones that have actually been active on our platform, 7 out of 10 of them have never bought gold before in their lives. What they've found is that they've suddenly gotten a startup that enables them to buy gold at transaction sizes that they thought were not possible. I mean, our lowest transaction size is 25 cents, but in actual fact, the average transaction size our customers typically buy is about $20.
Okay, that makes sense, because I wouldn't even know how to go about buying gold if I wanted to invest in gold. But if there's an app or website where I can actually invest in gold, and this is something I think that blockchain is allowing people to do. It's allowing people to very simply be armchair investors without too much effort at all. And that's interesting. You say that the average investment is $20, because we've all got $20 or whatever currency we've got lying down the back of the sofa or a couch, which we can put in, and hey, let's see what happens with it. You never know.
Yeah, I think the other great attribute that we have is that we've taken the view that our tech should be invisible. So as far as our customers using our local apps concerned, they're just buying gold from a mobile phone. They don't really need to know what kind of technology we're using, and they certainly don't need to know that we've tokenized their assets. I mean, for us, this is all back-end stuff. The way I describe it is like, going to a bank, Citibank, JP Morgan, or whatever it is, and putting money into the bank. You don't ask, what core banking system you use and what protocols you use. You just want to know that the money's going to be safe and the product that you are using is the one that you want.
Exactly, and it's one you can trust. And it's interesting. Everybody is trusting the blockchain at the moment, and it's a proven technology currently. What's the sort of return which people are getting on their investment?
Yeah, so the gold is a pretty interesting asset. Typically, over the history of time, gold has returned a rate of local inflation. So if you're a US dollar investor, typically you can expect to get a 2% return over the long run. In Malaysian ringgit terms, that's about 7 to 8%. In Indonesian rupiah terms, it's about 13%. So what this means for our customers is that, when you don't have a whole lot of money to put money into a cash account that earns an interest, if you put that money into gold and you start saving through gold, you can expect over time to get a return that will keep pace with inflation in your local economy. It's not going to get you rich. It's going to just protect your wealth. You can get rich by looking at playing in the crypto space, as an example, with other assets. Gold is the stable coin, I guess, if you will.
I understand that it's a good investment if you're not gambling and not looking for high returns. It's interesting. A friend of mine started investing in Bitcoin just by converting his air miles and hotel points back into cash and then investing in Bitcoin. And that has proven a very, very good strategy for him. He's basically taken something which is worth a mere few dollars and turned it into something greater. So again, that might be some other way to do it. Use your platform to invest those small amounts of money, but keep growing that little nest egg over the next matter of years. And then one day you've got your rainy day fund.
That is probably the best investment strategy I've heard in the crypto space. That's really cool.
Yeah, the guy who actually did it, he's now running a platform which allows you to create your own cryptocurrency. So not only did this help him, he started looking into it more and then thought, well, who's creating these cryptocurrencies? So yes, it's certainly a good way of doing it. And as we know, you should only invest money if you're prepared to never see that money again. And if you do see that money again with a return, then you've done well.
Yeah, that's a great advice. I wish more people could hear that.
Yeah, I don't say I listen to my own advice, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. I put a few caveats. If you do lose all your money and you've listened to me, then that's your risk, I'm afraid, listeners. And if you are sitting there eating pizza in your Aston Martin, then don't invest the car or anything like that. That's good. So your platform, it seems like a perfect way to invest. Is there anything that could possibly go wrong with it?
Oh, for sure, right? And that's why we decided to put our customer data on the blockchain. Most tech companies, even the larger ones, have been prone to hacking. In the case of the more traditional players, they've been hacked, and either customer data, information, or assets have been stolen. In our case, we built our entire system to mitigate the risk of both the impact of a hack, not just in terms of customer data, but also in terms of the underlying. So in the case of the blockchain for our customer transactions, what that means is that even if we are hacked, what's the most important thing? The most important thing is that we're able to recreate our customer transactions. And with the immutability of the blockchain, we can roll back to the point of a hack so that we can reconstruct our customer records very, very quickly. From the asset standpoint, we have a number of off-chain, off the internet breaks in our processes so that even if there's a hack, we're able to make sure that the gold never leaves the vault. And that's fundamentally important to our customers. And given that we're looking after other people's money, that's top of mind for us.
And I'm sure your vault is in a very secure, hidden location, which is nice and safe.
Well, actually not. It's in a very, very obvious location in Singapore, but Singapore is one of the safest places to hold wealth. So, we've located the vault in a good location in one of the major financial centers in the world.
Fabulous. That fills me with more confidence. And it's nice to know that I could actually invest some money and say, yeah, I own some gold somewhere and it's safe. It sounds like a really, really good investment idea. And it sounds like our listeners are the perfect people to get involved with this. So HelloGold.org is the website. It's a pretty good website. It's got everything you need there. The first buttons on the site are find out more and about the tokens, as well as the token price and your token calculator. So I'm actually going to play with this afternoon. I like it a lot. Robin, this is great. This is something new and exciting, and I like the simplicity of your website as well as the organization. I think that you've got everything there which is needed, and it makes it very easy for people to invest. So an ideal platform for everybody listening to check out and find out more about, and certainly something which I'm going to play with, because why not? I'm just about to look down the sofa and try and find 20, 25 bucks, which I can invest now.
What's the difference between the HelloGold token and the Gold X?
Well, okay, Gold X is the gold-backed token, so that it just basically does what it says on the tin. All it gives you is evidence of ownership of gold that you own through us. HelloGold token is our security token that we created for our ICO last year. That effectively is an investment in our business. So that's not backed by anything. That will rise and fall depending on market sentiment and the underlying fundamentals of our story.
Okay, so a way to get involved with the company. That's awesome.
Yes, exactly.
Well, thank you so much. I'm out of questions. That was just my only one.
Same here. I think that's great. So you can either invest in gold or actually invest in the organization that is investing your people's money into gold. So yeah, you can take your choice, and that's the beauty of this platform. I like it. I'm out of questions. That's enough for me. I'm going to get clicking this afternoon and find out more. And if we do have any more questions, then we'll definitely get back to you.
Brilliant. Yes, please do. Thanks for having me.
Robin, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, and I've enjoyed chatting to you immensely. Thank you very much for your time.
Cheers. Take care, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you, everybody, for downloading.
Please check out the show notes at theblockchainshow.com. We also have some live stream events coming up in a couple weeks in August. Mark and Ian live at Epcot. And then at the end of August, we have AI and blockchain. More details to follow.
Are you looking for an easy way to buy Bitcoin or Ether on a safe, secure platform? Coinbase is the easiest place to buy and sell digital currencies. Sign up today as a friend of the Blockchain Show, and if you buy or sell $100 of Bitcoin or more, you'll earn $10 of free Bitcoin for yourself and $10 of Bitcoin to support this show. Join now using the link in this episode's show notes at theblockchainshow.com. To learn more, visit theblockchainshow.com.